Hey there, old guy back again. I put together a demo / review of the Blackstar HT Club 40 Mark II amplifier. I don't want to talk too much about it. I want to get right to the review. But if you're really interested in the amplifier, please look at it, look for it online, and I'm sure you can find a bunch of information about it. I'm going to go through both channels, 2 voicings each channel. I played with my trusty 2000 American Standard Stratocaster. I also recorded it with the Shure SM57 into my Scarlett, Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 right into Garageband. I did not do a DI this time. I was really disappointed with the sound of that. So I did it through the microphone. I'll put up some pictures of the settings that I used and where the mic is with respect to the amp. Also put the settings in the descriptions below. So let's get to the demo. just before I go into the the wrap up and my final thoughts about the amp, I did want to talk a little bit about the foot switch that you get with the amp and why the upgraded foot switch is so much better. The foot switch you get with the amp is a 2-button. Basically, it allows you to change the channel and change the voicings. It's not very specific. It won't save the channel voicing if you switch to the next channel and to the next voicing. So you really have to tap around for, like if you wanted in voicing 2 on channel 1 and then go to voicing 1 on channel 2 and then switch right back to the voicing 2 on channel 1. It won't really let you do that. You really have to tap around on these. So I really highly recommend the upgraded foot switch. It's a 5-button foot switch that you can get. I think it's about $80 from Blackstar specifically for these amps. And I'll show it to you here. So basically, here's the foot switch that I got basically separately. Again, it's an $80 added expense, but it's amazing. You have the clean channel 2 here, which you tap twice to get your various voicings. You have a button for each overdrive channel voicing on there. A really amazing boost. I think it's a 6 decibel boost, which you can use on any of the channels, and also an on-off switch for the reverb. I'm going to put together, right now, I'm going to do a small little demo just for the boost. I'll change a couple of the channels and just strum some chords so that you can hear what the boost does to the channels. I'm going to use voicing 2 channel 1 and voicing 2 channel 2 to show you what the boost does, just because those two are my favorite channels. And then after that, I'll come back and we'll do a final kind of wrap up of what I actually thought about the amp, what's good and what's bad, and what I would do different. So give me a second and I'll get all that together, and then I'll come back to you and we'll talk about the amp. What's the final verdict on the Blackstar HT Club 40 Mark II? I'm really enjoying it. I gotta be honest with you, after years and years of only using digital, I really enjoy this amp. It has those 2 channels, 2 voicings each, which I find are both very useful. The first voicing, sorry, of the Overdrive channel is a little bit dark for me, but otherwise I think this amp has a lot of very useful tones in it. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. I mean, we're all after tone and tone and tone. Right now this amp is doing it for me. There are a couple of things that I would definitely do differently. I would actually add certain things and take away certain things from the amp itself. Almost like the Blackstar people tried to put too much of everything into this amp. The DI and USB recording really don't sound very good to me. I mean, I'm coming from an Axe FX 2, so I might be a little bit biased in that regard. I find that the microphone recording with the amp sounds much better than either of those two. I kind of did an A/B on my own. I just found it sounds more real to me. The DI and USB both kind of sound kind of boxy. They don't do a very good job of emulating the speakers. The other thing I would have loved, back to the channel 2, is I really would have loved a whole separate EQ section for each voicing. I think that that's really, really important. I think that would have made the amp even more versatile than it already is. The other thing along those lines is I recorded everything through my microphone, but at the 40-watt setting. It also has a button you push that takes the 40-watt setting down to 4 watts, and I really don't find that that's usable. I mean, I have a small little amp that I practice with, but that 4-watt setting Obviously, Blackstar Online will tell you that it doesn't change the sound at all, but I completely disagree with that. I really don't like the sounds coming out of the 4 watts. You really have to crank it to get anything usable out of there, and then that's kind of defeating the purpose of why you would want to attenuate. So the attenuation kind of squishes the sound, makes the tone kind of squishy and dark, and I just wasn't a fan. Happily for me, I've got my whole area here where I can kind of crank my amp, and even still you'll see at the settings I used that the amp wasn't even close to being maxed out. I kind of agree with a lot of the online reviews that this is a serious gigging amp. It gets really loud. I mean, it's only at 40 watts rated, but I can tell you that not even a third of the way up on the volume, and I can jam with my son on his drums when he's banging away full volume, and I can hear myself just fine in that setting. I don't gig. I mean, this is just for fun for me, so I don't really know how it would do, like big club size versus small club size versus amphitheater versus, I really don't know. But as you can hear, it does mic up quite well. In any case, I really enjoy the amp. It's, like all of us, it's not going to be the last amp I ever own, I'm sure, but for right now it's really footing the bill. I also haven't run any pedals through it. The signal that I ran for all of this video was completely dry, other than a very small bit of reverb from the amp itself, so I haven't really put the pedals through it. That's kind of the next step into this. But in any case, I really enjoy the amp. I think for the price especially, it's a really great deal. It is kind of throw everything in the sink and see what happens kind of amp versus something more focused. That being said, I did try just about every amp out there, combo amp out there, that I could get my hands on from just about every company, again, that I could get my hands on, boutique and otherwise. And this amp brought me back every time. I smiled every time I played it, and it still inspires me to pick up the guitar every day, and that's really what it's about. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please go ahead and thumbs up like. If you like what you see on the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. I really enjoy doing this for you, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks.